Hello, my name is Jasmine Lee, and I am Not Your Mama's Astrologer coming at you with Aquarius, all things Aquarius. So I'd like, if you will, to go on a little journey with me. Now you can do this as a closed-eyed meditation. You can do it while you're driving or walking or just thinking your thoughts. These are things that I would like to take us through to better embody the Aquarian energy that I want to speak to. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, close your eyes or don't. Just center yourself and free your mind and let whatever imagery or thoughts come through you to come through you. And so what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you're on a walk in your neighborhood. It's familiar. It feels good. The weather is nice. And as you're walking through your neighborhood, I want you to focus in on a house. What color is it? How big is it? I want you to go up to that house and I want you to knock on the door. Did you knock a lot? A little? Was there a doorbell? Was there a handle? Did you just rap with your fingers? When the door opens, instead of someone being there, there is a mirror. And for a moment, I want you to look in that mirror. And I want you to see yourself. And I want you to think of the first word that comes to your mind while you are looking at yourself. What is that word? Don't force it. It can be totally weird. Whatever word comes to your mind. And after that word comes, I want an object to appear in your hands. And what object is that? And how do you think this object relates to what's coming next in your life? What object do you really need? It can be representative or it can be totally literal. And poof, the imagery disappears. And here we are, back together. And whether you were having your eyes closed, or you were just walking, or you were just thinking, how I want to start my conversation about Aquarius is this. You saw the house that you wanted to see. You heard or felt the word that you felt and heard, and the object that you saw. Now, imagine, and in my deepest, most glorious dreams, there are hundreds, thousands of people listening to this at the exact same time as you. And each of those people saw a different house. They saw a different color. They saw a different word. They saw a different object. And that is the glory of Aquarius. Because what Aquarius celebrates is individuality. What Aquarius teaches us is I know. Because deep down, you do know. They have 1 foot on land and 1 foot on water. They are the endless bringer and giver of their own nourishment. They are bringing in the water and allowing the water to trickle down and bringing like the beautiful windmills and that circulate the air. We circulate, and that is what Aquarius season is. Whatever word you heard is the word I want you to take through Aquarius season to transform your life. And the tool is in your hands. And whatever that tool is or was is unique to you. To think that visualization would turn out the same for all of us is crazy, is folly. And maybe in synchronistic ways, we all have vibes. I know in my writing class, it'll be so interesting. We will have this collective vibe where we all wrote about hands, or we all wrote about weather or cooking or smells. And how cool is that we can synchronize together? But what Aquarius wants to teach us, what Aquarius knows, is that deep down you are your own microcosm. And what's good for the goose is good for the gander. What's good for you isn't always what's good for someone else. So if you would like to be treated with respect, if you would like to be truly seen for who you really are, then we have to start accepting as a community that you are going to be different from me. That what makes us more powerful is the collective we of all of the unique eyes that are in this world. That it is through our uniqueness coming together that we form the revolution. And that is Aquarius. And Aquarius travels through their month. They start with the I know. They have ideas. They are the rebel. They have intentions. They have gut check reactions. They have aha moments. They are genius. And as the month goes on, it becomes frankness. They have the ability, with Mercury on board, to speak, to think, to be on the edge of reason. And as they travel to the end of their month, they have that beautiful Aquarian insight to then bring it together, to then find the togetherness, to then find the vulnerability in what is unique about each and every person's thought process. It is a journey. It's a journey to go from I know to I say to I embody. And that is the journey we go on in Aquarius season. This is the ask, is that while you were thinking of your house and your word and your tool, there were all these other people that had different houses and different words and different tools. And that the ask in Aquarius season is that we boldly accept each other's differences instead of pushing against them. And so we can't do that if we don't have fodder for fire. So here we are in Aquarius season where the climate is wrapped with division, with differences of opinion, of heart, of lifestyles, and how we hold that is what is asked of us in Aquarius season. I have this notion that the New Year's happens, New Year's Eve into New Year's, happens in Capricorn season, where we're in a very work place in our lives, where we are digging foundations and trying to build something. And then when it shifts on into Aquarius, all of the sudden there's the letdown of, I am not always what I am expected to be, and I cannot always just work for my supper. I must also have passion and revelation and freedom of thought and speech to be able to understand better what the heartbeats inside of me are trying to say. And I say all of this to empower you, but really what Aquarius wants to do is empower us. That there is no me without the we, that there is no contrast, there is no learning of self without the reflection of others, that we all have something so important to bring out in one another. And that is Aquarius. That is 11th house of community, of technology, of astrology, of rebellion, of inspiration, and of healing powers of transmutation. In the tarot, the star card follows the tower. And in a lot of ways, I feel like this makes sense because we have to crumble down the year behind us in order to understand and rebuild a year ahead of us. And that's where the true revolution inside of ourselves, inside of our community, our world, can really take place is when we let it all crumble down, when we let it all go. And there is that scary moment when we pull Tower card where we feel like everything is going to change, and it is. But the Star card is what comes when, rather than being fearful, we find our courage and we become curious. Because that's what Aquarius is. Aquarius people can sometimes see things so differently that they're deemed the weirdo. They're deemed the misunderstood. The ones that are the black sheeps of their family, of their friend circles, of their work circles, they don't quite fit in. They stay on the edges of the crowd and they watch and they wait and they try to understand better before they participate. And what if we did that? What if we all thought about it for a moment before we leapt? What if we all just stopped for a minute to understand each other before we spoke? What if on some level we found dissension and hardship and misunderstandings a beautiful opportunity to become something greater than what we currently are? What if we all could feel inspired by the future, by what's next, by the differences in you and I, by the cool value of understanding that you saw a blue house and I saw a green house, and the word that came to me was strength, and the object that came to me was a boulder. And yet the object that came to you and the word that came to you are separate. But what if we combined those words, those colors, those objects to get going in this world? That is Aquarius. That is the notion of, oh, I know, and I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to embody it. I am going to follow through. To me, I see it as that when in science class, when we had the theories and then we had to experiment. And then here's where Aquarius comes in. Not be attached to the findings. In fact, being excited by the fact that it could be something different than our hypothesis first predicted. That instead, it's so much better than that because it is something that goes beyond our scope, beyond what we believe, beyond what we know. That is Aquarius. It is beyond what we know because we allow it to be. And so the lesson in humanity of Aquarius is to allow your house to be blue and mine to be green, is to allow your words to be different, to allow your life process to work through itself different than mine, and to not judge it, and to not fight it, and to not hate it, but rather to work and strive towards understanding it, whatever it is in you, in me, in the other. We are all living kind of this weird psychedelic world, aren't we? Because everything that I believe to be true could be totally opposite of everything that you believe to be true. My values, my work ethic, my heart, my voice is different than yours. And the true pathway is the water bearer, is to allow, is to accept, is to flow. Because what stops our flow is fighting. What stops our flow is misunderstanding. What stops our flow is ego. Because Aquarius's counterpart is Leo. And Leo is ruled by the sun and rules the ego. And Aquarius says yes to ego. However, understand that my ego, my heart, my soul, my sun is different than yours. And rather than fighting against that, celebrating it. So that when you get into a disagreement with someone, that rather than just the I know part of Aquarius, we engage, we work with the frankness of Aquarius and the embodying of the wanting to truly know. Because the truth is, you can think you know, but if you aren't open to what other people know, if you're not curious about the other person's side of the story, if you aren't wanting to understand how the other half lives, male, female, gender roles, all of it is par for the course. Political sides, religion, it's all wrought in Aquarius energy that could explode the potential of a new world by just allowing us to be us, you to be you, me to be me, so that then when we meet in the battlefield, instead of just wielding our swords, we say, what are you fighting for? this is what I'm fighting for. So after the tower falls, after the great empires fall, after this political climate falls, all that's left is you and me on that battlefield, mirroring each other, all wanting the same but different, all requiring something. And yours might be blue and mine might be green. And yours might be strength and mine might be love. But if we don't allow, if we don't want to know your side of the story, the other side of the story, my side, your side, his side, her side, if we don't want to know, then that's where true war breaks out, because we're fighting against nothing. We're fighting against concepts. When if you stripped us down into the very core of our humanity, you'd find that we're all searching for very similar things. They're just wrapped in different containers. And it is the container that we're kicking down the road. We're forgetting to open it and collectively go inside. And so oftentimes, even if you put it on a very small level, a little fight with your spouse, fight with your brother, a fight with your best friend, if you can't go there with them, if you can't put yourself where they are, if you can't say, well, feelings aren't facts, and that's true, but I'm going to try to understand yours, because theory is what gets lost in translation. The Bible, scripts that have been thousands and thousands of years in the making, get misinterpreted through our different perspectives. And to believe that only one interpretation is the only interpretation, well, that goes against the very notion of what Aquarius is trying to do here. So I invite you this Aquarius season to find out where Aquarius is in your chart, what house it's in, to find out what your own unique Aquarian directive is. I don't have a lot of Aquarius in my chart, but I have a lot of my planets in the house of Aquarius, which is house 11. And truly, I have so many moments in my life where I feel misunderstood, where I'm too hippie for my normal friends and I'm too normal for my hippie friends. And so I float. I just float in this in-between. And as I get older, I am starting to appreciate the float, the free fall, the non-conformity of it all. That to take a side would be to deny the very uniqueness of my own self. To say, oh, well, I'm this person. To redefine over and over again is what Aquarius wants. It doesn't want us to say, well, I am a hippie, or I am a sports guy, or I am this. Fill in the blanks. I'm a writer. I'm a singer. I'm an athlete. I'm a performer. Whatever it isn't only who you are. And the older we get and the more Aquarius seasons we go through, the more we have to let loose. And in so doing, in letting yourself be that free, that in your 40s, in your 50s, in your is when you really start to define yourself. It's when you really start to understand yourself better, because rather than saying, I am this, you say, I am these. I am me. I am she. I am the thing that operates this body. I am the breath that breathes me. I am the thoughts that think me. And that is so empowering, because why does that have to be defined? And when you stop trying to define it, that's when you really become it. Because anything held so tight can't take form. Aquarius needs the mush. It needs the sack that the caterpillar goes into to become nothing, to then blossom into everything. The tower needs to destroy everything before the trueness, the realness, the stripped down version of yourself. It takes grief, it takes pain, it takes joy, it takes sex, it takes love, it takes hate. It takes that very human experience, us cycling through it over and over, to understand that trying to define it is what is limiting it. And so that, my friends, is Aquarius season. If you're just listening, you don't get the benefit of seeing. I pulled the star card in the tarot so that you could all see the different images of Aquarius. the different ways that Aquarius gets represented, the way that we awaken our third eye, the way that we let water fall, the way that we become enlightened and awakened. So I invite you, if you can't see it, to go online and look up the star card in Tarot and see that there is a source. There is always source guiding us, but it is how we carry that water. It is how we bear it through the seasons. It is how we let it freeze, how we let it melt, how we let it boil, that truly allows the shaping inside of us to make more sense. And in order to do that, you have to be willing to let other people be who they need to be. The rebellion is so simple. The rebel in us is the mirror in us. The rebel in us is the rebel in the other. And when we start respecting and honoring that, is when we start to enrich ourselves, is when Aquarius season truly becomes the most epic, powerful version of itself, because it is community. Because Aquarius says, I am not whole individually. It is through how I see myself within my community that really matters. So, blessings on this Aquarius season. Thank you for listening. Whatever color you saw, whatever word you heard, whatever object you have now, I want you to transmute it into something powerful for yourself this month, this Aquarius season. I want you to see it different, and I want you to be the rebel of your own circumstances. So go forth and be the beautiful Aquarian vibes I know you can be. Thanks for listening.